Welcome to Lilybugs Library. My name's Linda, and welcome to Poetry Thursday. So today we're going to do the poet Robert Burns from Scotland. So I'll read you a little bit about him, and then we'll read a couple of his poems and discuss it a little bit. So he was born in 1759 in Scotland and died in 1796. He was the national poet of Scotland, and he was famous for his amours and his rebellion against Orthodox religion and morality. So his father was a farmer, and I guess he worked very hard, but he ended up dying bankrupt. So he had watched his father kind of get beaten down by society and things that happened to him, and it made him really rebel against the social order. So he did get some formal teaching from formal schooling from a teacher, as well as sporadically from other sources, but he really didn't go that far in school. So he did a lot of hard work on the farm and tried to keep that going after his father's death. He really had a problem with organized religion, and he took sides against the Calvinist wing of the church in the town that he lived in. And he even got into trouble with a gentleman named Gavin Hamilton, with the Kirk session, which is like a church court, because they broke the Sabbath. So he was pretty prolific with the ladies. He had an affair with a servant girl at the farm, Elizabeth Patton, who in 1785 bore his first child. And so then after that, he wrote poetry, for his friends and things, but, he wasn't really publishing any of it yet. And he ended up falling in love with Jean Amour in 1786. So this is like a year after the other lady. And her father refused to allow her to marry him because of the fact that he wanted nothing to do with the church. And so her father said, no, I don't care. And she was already pregnant with his child, but she was persuaded by her father not to marry him. So he was all hurt and upset, and he went and had an affair with someone else named Mary, who died not long after that. No, nothing to do with him. She just did. And so anyway, he ended up, June 3rd, Jean ended up bearing him twins. So even though they never got married, she did have, twins by him. And in the meantime, he was not doing well with the farm. He was, upset with a lot of things in life. But in the midst of all this, he decided to publish a volume of his poems so that he would have kind of more respect in that community. Kind of worked. The poems did really well. It was an immediate success and kind of overwhelming for him. So he did kind of move away from that area, moved to Edinburgh for a while, and then continued to publish poems. And he did, go on, like I said, to be the national poet of Scotland. So he had a kind of a interesting life. He was certainly not a upstanding citizen back then by a lot of people's views, between his views on the church and then the way that he was with the ladies. But anyway, good or bad, this is, he did write the poems. So I've got 4 here that I'll read, and I'll be honest, a lot of his are very long, more than a page, 4, 5, 6 pages sometimes. And it's all written in kind of the Old English. So I'll do the best I can with it, but, we'll see. So he wrote about a lot of different things, a few kind of cheery ones, but a lot that weren't so much. But the first one I'm going to read is called Despondency, an Ode, and it's all coming from this book. So it says, oppressed with grief, oppressed with care, a burden more than I can bear, I set me down and sigh. O life, thou art a galling load, along a rough, weary road, to wretches such as I. Dim backward as I cast my view, what sickening scenes appear, what sorrows yet may pierce me through, too justly I may fear. Still caring, despairing, must be my bitter doom. My woes here shall close never, but with the closing tomb. Happy ye sons of busy life, who equal to the bustling strife, no other view regard. Even when the wished ends denied, yet while the busy means are plied, they bring their own reward, while I, a hope abandoned white, unfitted with an aim, meet every sad returning night, and joyless morn the same. You, bustling and justling, forget each grief and pain. I, listless yet restless, find every prospect vain. How blessed the solitary lot, who all forgetting, all forgot. Within his humble cell, the cavern wild with tangling roots, sits over his newly gathered fruits. Beside his crystal well, oh happily to his evening thought, by unfrequented stream. The ways of men are distant brought, a faint collected dream, while praising and raising his thoughts to heaven on high, as wandering meandering he views the solemn sky. Then I, no lonely hermit placed, where never human footstep traced, less fit to play the part, the lucky moment to improve, and just to stop and just to move, with self-respecting art, but those pleasures, loves, and joys, which I too keenly taste, the solitary can despair, can want, and yet be blessed. He needs not, he heeds not, or human love or hate, while I here must cry here at perfidy ingrate. O enviable early days, when dancing thoughtless pleasure's maze, to care, to guilt unknown, how ill exchanged for riper times, to feel the follies or the crimes of others or my own. Yet tiny elves that guileless sport, like linnets in the bush, yet little know the ills ye court, when manhood is your wish. The losses, the crosses that active men engage, the fears all, the tears all, of dim declining age. That was a pretty long one. The next one is called Handsome Nell. Now, I don't know who Nell was, but that's another lady that he apparently had something to do with. It says, once I loved a bonny lass, I love her still, and while that virtue warms my breast, I'll love my handsome Nell. As bonny lasses I have seen, and money full as braw, but for a modest, graceful mien, the like I never saw. A bonny lass, I will confess, is pleasant to the eye, but without some better qualities, she's no lass for me. But Nell's looks are blithe and sweet, and what is best of eye, her reputation is complete, and fair without a flaw. She dresses, I say, clean and neat, both decent and genteel, and then there's something in her gait, gar's only dress look weel. A gaudy dress and gentle air may slightly touch the heart, but it's innocent and modesty that polishes the dart. 'Tis this in Nell pleases me, 'tis this enchants my soul, for absolutely in my breast she reigns without control. So, he speaks very highly of Nell, whoever she was. So the next one is one that you may have heard. It's definitely one of his more famous ones, and I feel like little bits of it may have been heard in movies over the years, but it's called A Red, Red Rose. Oh, my love's like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love's like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. So fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till the seas gang dry. Till the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun, and I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. And fare thee weel, my only love, and fare thee weel a while, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 mile. So he definitely has a little bit of a romantic heart to him, even though he's, sometimes he's kind of sad and melancholy, but, life will do that to you, right? So the last one is called Winter a Dirge. The wintry west extends his blast, and hail and rain does blaw, or the stormy north sends driving forth the blinding sleet and snaw. While tumbling down the bum comes down, and roars frae bank to brae, and bird and beast in covert rest, and pass the heartless day. The sweeping blast, the sky overcast, the joyless winter day, let others fear to me more dear than all the pride of May. The tempest howl, it soothes my soul, my griefs it seems to join. The leafless trees my fancy please, their fate resembles mine. Though power supreme, whose mighty scheme these woes of mine fulfill, here firm I rest, they must be best, because they are thy will. Then all I want, O do grant this one request of mine, since to enjoy thou dost deny, assign me to resign. Not sure I totally understand that one, but it sounds like he's quite happy that it's winter because that's the mood he's in. So he's a little harder to understand with the difference in the language. Even harder to read, I confess, but interesting nevertheless. So I find it kind of, the poems are good, and I find it's interesting to read what they wrote about, but I also find it really interesting to read their histories and kind of what was going on in their life. I don't always think of that with poets. I tend to think of, what they wrote, but I don't always think of how they got there. And the same with musicians, I find, with like composers, the older ones in particular, like Beethoven and Brahms and stuff. When you start to really hear what they went through for their craft and in their lifetime, you realize, it's fascinating. It's like a history lesson kind of, and I enjoy it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed those poems. Maybe it's got you kind of, it's either got you thinking you never want to read Robert Burns, or maybe it's got you looking for more of him. Who knows? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have a favorite poet, new, old, doesn't matter, I would love you to put something in the comments, and maybe I can get to that, because eventually I'm going to run out of ones that I think of or know of. It's a pretty short list. So if you have any that you'd like to hear or bring to my attention, I would love to know in the comments below. And, give me your thoughts too on Robert Burns. I know people with Scottish heritage in particular tend to be big fans, which, although I have the Scottish heritage, like I said, the jury's still out on that one. All right. Hope you have a great day, friends. Bye-bye.